Ever feel like your body is screaming at you, but you're just sitting on the couch? That heart racing, brain foggy, tired but wired feeling isn't just in your head, it is a chemical takeover. Stay with me for the next few minutes because I'm going to show you the exact secret to hitting the off switch on your body's hidden alarm system. But first, you need to understand the invisible force that is currently hijacking your biology. Deep inside your brain, there is a master controller. When it senses even a hint of a threat, it triggers a high-speed hotline called the HPA axis. This is the red phone of your biology. When it rings, your adrenal glands pump out a massive surge of a hormone called cortisol. Now, cortisol is actually a masterpiece of survival. Scientists call it a glucocorticoid. In simple terms, it manages your sugar and your stress. It spikes your blood sugar for instant energy and shuts down non-essential systems like your digestion to save power. If a tiger jumps out at you, cortisol is the hero. But here's the catch, and this is the part most people miss. In our modern world, we don't have tigers. We have unread emails. We have 2 a.m. TikTok scrolls. We have blue light and rising bills. Your body cannot tell the difference between a predator and a deadline. Because of this, that internal alarm is blaring 24 hours a day. But how do you know if this is happening to you? Most people think it's just aging, but your body is actually leaving a trail of clues. Look in the mirror. Do you notice a persistent puffy look in your face? Or dark, heavy bags under your eyes that no amount of sleep seems to fix? That is your body holding on to water and inflammation because it's in a constant state of high alert. And it doesn't stop there. Have you ever noticed the stressed belly? That stubborn fat right around your middle that refuses to move? That is actually a biological gas tank. Cortisol tells your body to store energy right there because it thinks you're in a survival situation and might need fuel later. You might feel a strange sense of physical weakness, like your muscles just aren't as snappy as they used to be, or a low heavy mood that feels like a cloud you just can't shake. You aren't lazy and you aren't just sad. Your chemistry is simply exhausted. For women, high cortisol can disrupt the delicate balance of progesterone, often leading to irregular cycles or intensified brain fog. In men, chronic elevation is linked to a significant drop in free testosterone, which explains that sudden loss of muscle tone and drive. Researchers are also focusing on vulnerable stages of life. For pregnant people, the body naturally raises cortisol to assist fetal development, but excessive distress levels can actually reprogram the baby's own future stress response. In older populations, the data is even more striking. High cortisol is now considered a geroprotector threat, meaning it accelerates cellular aging and is a primary driver of age-related memory decline. Essentially, it makes you grow older faster. In fact, cortisol is the greatest enemy of human longevity. It literally frays the ends of your DNA, known as telomeres, shortening your lifespan at a cellular level. But there is a roadmap for beating this. In places like Okinawa, Japan, a famous blue zone where living past 100 is remarkably common, the culture is built around cortisol suppression. They practice hara hachibu, eating only until they are 80% full to avoid digestive stress, and they maintain moai, which are lifelong social support groups that act as a mechanical buffer against psychological stress. By keeping their cortisol low, they keep their biological age years younger than their chronological age. So, how do we fix the glitch? We don't need a miracle. We need a bio reset. But the solution isn't what you think. It isn't just relaxing. You have to speak the body's language. Stick with me, because the most powerful tool I'm about to show you is actually free, and it's probably right outside your window. To master your internal clock, you need light, specifically natural sunlight in your eyes within 30 minutes of waking up. This sets a chemical timer in your brain. It tells your body, spike cortisol now, so we can drop it 14 hours later. Without that morning light, your cortisol levels stay flat and elevated all day, leading to that 3 a.m. wake-up call where your mind races while the world is quiet. But what if you are in the middle of a crisis right now? You use the physiological sigh. This is a mechanical hack. One deep inhale, a tiny extra sip of air at the top, and a long, slow exhale through your mouth. This forces your heart rate to slow down by shifting your carbon dioxide levels. It is the fastest way to manually override your nervous system. For the final piece of the puzzle, we look at under-the-radar nutrients like phosphatidylserine. This specialized fat found in your brain cells can actually muffle the signal from the brain to the adrenals. It is like putting a silencer on that internal alarm. Combine that with Tulsi, the queen of herbs, and you have a powerhouse for resilience. Tulsi is an adaptogen, a unique type of plant that helps your body adapt to stress instead of being crushed by it. Your body isn't broken, it's just trying to protect you. But now, you are the one in charge of the remote. Start with the light, watch the caffeine, and give your internal alarm the break it deserves. You weren't meant to live in an emergency. You were meant to thrive. While high cortisol is often discussed in wellness circles, recent clinical studies and 2026 pharmacological models have uncovered several counterintuitive facts that are not yet common knowledge. Here are the latest findings regarding the science of cortisol. 1. The morning anchor, 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. The 30-minute light window. To stop the biological momentum of overbuilt adrenal glands, you must get 10 minutes of natural sunlight into your eyes within 30 minutes of waking. This triggers a timer that signals your brain to begin the nighttime clearing phase exactly 14 hours later. Hydration loading. Drink 16 ounces of water with a pinch of sea salt immediately. As the Bristol study showed, early morning dehydration signals a survival emergency to the HPA axis, causing an unnecessary cortisol spike. Delay the caffeine. Wait at least 90 minutes after waking to have coffee. Your cortisol is already naturally high to wake you up. Adding caffeine on top of that peak numbs your receptors and causes a massive crash and cortisol surge at 2 p.m. at 2. The midday metabolic buffer, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. The gut-brain bridge, eat a fermented food, kimchi, kefir, or sauerkraut with lunch. This supports the specific gut microbes that help tune your cortisol rhythm. The physiological sigh. At 1 p.m., perform 3 physiological sighs. Double inhale, long exhale. This mechanically shifts your nervous system out of overproduction mode before the afternoon slump hits. 3. The afternoon clearing phase, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Movement, not punishment. Avoid high-intensity interval training, HIIT. If you already feel wired but tired, opt for Zone 2 cardio, brisk walking, or weightlifting. Intense cardio during a cortisol spike can actually worsen geroprotector erosion, DNA fraying. The caffeine cutoff. All caffeine must stop by 12 p.m. to ensure your adrenal glands can begin their physical shrinkage phase in the evening. 4. The evening silencer, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. The blue zone, social buffer. Like the Okinawan Moai, spend 20 minutes in low-stress social interaction, calling a friend or talking to family. Social safety is the most powerful signal to the HPA axis that it is safe to shut down. The supplement stack, phosphatidylserine, PS, 300 milligrams to muffle the brain to adrenal signal. Magnesium glycinate, 400 milligrams to help the liver clear lingering cortisol from the blood. The blackout, dim all overhead lights. Total darkness signals the brain to transition from the cortisol-caused wake state to a melatonin-driven recovery state. And finally, weight loss. Maintaining a healthy weight is a critical factor in managing high cortisol because of the bidirectional relationship between metabolic health and the stress response. Excess visceral fat, particularly around the midsection, doesn't just store energy. It acts as an active endocrine organ that can secrete inflammatory cytokines. These inflammatory signals can further stimulate the HPA axis, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal, creating a feedback loop where high cortisol promotes fat storage, and that fat storage, in turn, keeps cortisol levels elevated. By reducing body weight through sustainable lifestyle changes, you decrease the physical pressure on your internal systems and lower systemic inflammation. This helps to quiet the chemical signals telling your brain to remain in a state of high alert. Effectively, weight loss helps break the cycle of chronic stress, allowing your hormonal profile to return to a more balanced, restorative state. I hope this has helped. Please like and subscribe for more health tips.